I think I'm in love.
It was 7 p.m., and Willow had just gotten off work and was back at the house she shared with her best friend, Raymond. They lounged on his couch, indulging in a spread of junk food. Raymond raised an eyebrow, an amused smile playing on his lips.
Again? When? This happens every other week.
Willow playfully hit Raymond with a pillow a couple of times.
I swear it's serious this time.
His eyes twinkled as he laughed.
You say that every time.
Her best friend for most of her life, Willow didn't know what she would do without him. If Willow were to compare him to a diamond, he would be a princess diamond. He was very charming and had the sparkly eyes to match too. Rolling her eyes, Willow shot back.
You're just a hater.
Playfully sticking her tongue out at her friend, she couldn't help but notice the irony in his comment, considering that her best friend always had a new woman in his bed every week. He was even more hopeless than she was. It had only been a few hours since she'd met Caspian Leroy, but Willow was absolutely convinced that she was in love with him. Scratch that, she knew she was in love with him. After the way he had stood up for her at the meeting, she couldn't think of anything else. Raymond, intrigued by Willow's infatuation, asked,
When? This is him, right? Caspian Leroy?
Willow leaned over to peer at Raymond's phone screen, which displayed a picture of Caspian from an online search.
I know visuals aren't everything, but look at that face.
Raymond arched an eyebrow, a mischievous grin playing on his lips.
So, you admit to liking him only because he has a pretty face?
His teasing was all in good fun, and Willow was well aware of that, but a tinge of irritation at herself simmered beneath the surface. She knew firsthand what it felt like to be judged solely based on one's appearance. Whether people were looking at you because you were conventionally attractive or not so conventionally attractive, it didn't always feel good. Raymond quickly noticed a subtle shift in Willow's expression and hastened to clarify.
You know I'm just kidding.
Willow let out a laugh.
Sure, he has a pretty face, but it's the way he stood up for me that made me fall for him, right? Gosh. I wish I had a recording of Tina's face when it happened. It was priceless.
Raymond grinned at the thought.
I bet. So what kind of diamond would Caspian Leroy be?
He asked, popping an Oreo into his mouth. Willow had thought about this on the ride home from work. The Carbonado diamond had come to mind, popularly referred to as the Black Diamond. It was striking and had a dark allure and intrigue, just like Caspian Leroy. He hadn't judged her because of how she looked and actually gave her a chance. Raymond rose from the couch, collecting the empty soda bottles scattered on the floor as he made his way to the kitchen.
We need ice cream.
Willow called out after him. Raymond chuckled, his voice drifting from the kitchen.
No, we don't, but we're gonna have it anyway.
Willow couldn't help but grin and let out a cheer.
So,
Raymond continued from the kitchen.
why did you decide to go against Tina today? It's not the first time she's taken credit for your work. Heck, your coworkers leech off you every time, but you've never complained. Not to them anyway.
Willow contemplated for a moment, her thoughts going back to what happened.
Mom, I don't know. Maybe it's because there were diamonds involved. Probably that, but also because of the look on Caspian's face.
What do you mean?
Raymond's curiosity was piqued. Willow settled into the couch, her eyes fixed on the television.
Well, he came in looking so uninterested, right? Kinda like he expected to be disappointed.
Raymond nodded, trying to follow her line of thought.
I see.
She couldn't help but laugh as she toggled through the TV channels.
Do you?
Raymond returned from the kitchen, cradling a massive tub of ice cream in his hands.
Not really, but I guess.
Willow continued her quest to find something worth watching as she changed channels.
Enough about me. How was work?
Raymond placed the ice cream on the coffee table and exhaled a tired sigh.
I've seen better days. I need something to forget.
Understanding the weight of his profession as a surgeon, Willow nodded sympathetically. While Raymond didn't often share the details of his work with her, she had a general sense of what he faced.
Ice cream and a bad reality show is all we need to forget, right?
She raised a spoon and gestured for Raymond to do the same. Her best friend laughed, raised his spoon, and clinked it against hers.
Heck yeah.
Just as she was about to take a bite of the creamy goodness, Willow's phone began to ring. It was from an unknown number.
Hello?
Willow answered the call.
Hello, is this Willow?
The voice on the other end slurred slightly, but that deep baritone sounded a little familiar.
Yes. This is her.
She confirmed.
This is Caspian Leroy.
Willow practically jumped to her feet upon hearing his name.
Hello. Hello, Mr. Leroy.
She stammered, taking her phone away from her ear to glance at the time. It was approaching 9 p.m., and Caspian Leroy's voice hinted that he had indulged in a few drinks.
Do you know the club River Oasis?
Caspian's voice slurred slightly. Willow, still reeling from the call, turned to Raymond with wide eyes and mouth.
Do you know Verve Oasis?
He nodded.
Yes, sir.
Willow replied to Caspian.
Meet me there as soon as you can.
Caspian instructed, and then abruptly ended the call. Willow whipped around to face Raymond, her mind racing.
Verve Oasis. What kind of club is it?
It's an elite club for the cream of society. Politicians, celebrities, you name it.
With a surge of excitement and nervous energy, Willow dashed to her room. Raymond followed her.
What are you doing?
He asked.
Caspian asked me to meet him there. I have to find something to wear.
Willow explained as she delved into her wardrobe, searching for the perfect outfit.
It's 9 p.m.
Raymond pointed out, his expression a mix of concern and disbelief.
Are you seriously considering going out to meet this stranger you just met at an unfamiliar place?
Willow paused her wardrobe search, facing Raymond with unwavering determination.
Technically, he's my company's client. If he asks for me, I need to go meet him.
She paid no mind to the incredulous looks her friend was giving her and eventually pulled out a shimmery silver dress with a daringly low split, which she held up for Raymond to see.
You said this made me look like a diamond.
Raymond looked dumbfounded for a moment before managing to sputter.
Well, yeah.
That's enough for me.
Willow interrupted.
Also, could you call me a cab?
Raymond hesitated for a moment, his concern evident in his gaze.
Are you sure about this, Win?
Willow nodded. At this moment, she had never been more certain about anything in her life. A few minutes later, Willow found herself in a cab, dressed in her shimmering silver dress and matching shoes, en route to Verve Oasis. To her dismay, she was greeted by unexpected late-night traffic as hordes of people headed home, so it took her 2 hours to get to her destination. When she arrived, Willow reached for her phone, intending to call Caspian to inform him of her arrival. However, as she stood at the entrance of the club, a familiar figure staggered out of the building.
Sir!
She rushed toward him just in time to catch him before he fell.
Are you?
He slurred, his words accompanied by a belch that reeked of alcohol. A valet, noticing the situation, hurried over to them.
Are you Mr. Leroy's company? He asked me to take him back to his hotel after the party. Are you coming with him?
Willow was conflicted. She didn't want to leave Caspian alone in this state, but the idea of accompanying him was also far from appealing. She hesitated, torn between her sense of responsibility and her reservations.
Miss?
The valet regarded her with a questioning look. With a determined nod, Willow replied.
Yes?
She then sent a message to Raymond, informing him that the party had ended and she would be staying at a hotel since it was late. She deliberately omitted the part about going with Caspian, not wanting to cause her friend unnecessary worry. They weren't going to stay in the same room anyway. She would try to get another room. Raymond's response came quickly, offering to come and pick her up.
No, it's fine. Eat all the ice cream, watch some television, and get some sleep. Mua, love you.
She added a heart emoji at the end. Willow turned her attention back to the valet.
I'll go with him.
It wasn't going to be like the movies where the female lead undressed the male lead. She was going to make sure he got in safely, then leave. The hotel was only a short drive away from Verve Oasis, and the valet provided Willow with a card that granted access to one of the hotel rooms. With a sense of apprehension, Willow led a passed-out Caspian to the room and dumped him on the bed. Just as she was about to leave, she heard Caspian's voice pierce through the stillness of the room.
Maggie,
He mumbled, sitting up on the bed and gazing at Willow with vacant eyes.
stay.
Willow pointed to herself, confused. Caspian nodded and flopped back onto the bed. Her inner voice screamed that she shouldn't be doing this, but against her better judgment, Willow lay down beside Caspian. She had intended to remain there until he fell asleep, or so she thought. The following morning, Willow stirred from her slumber as someone shook her gently.
Miss Willow, get up.
She blinked her groggy eyes open to find Caspian standing beside the bed, his expression one of disgust as he regarded her. There was a sinking feeling as she realized she had fallen asleep the previous night, and it was now morning. Caspian's tone was cold as he ordered.
I've called a cab for you. Leave.
Willow couldn't find the words to respond. She quickly gathered her phone and purse by the side of the bed and ran out of the hotel room.